Hello everyone, my name is PolishLynx and let's check that camp. Hopefully. This camp, if of course it is really a camp, looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there, and hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them, wearing a pioneer uniform. My logic didn't let me down this time. Then again, a pioneer uniform in the 21st century. And then again, a girl here? I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far as I could from this place, far from this bus, gates, statues, and far from this bloody bird with its siesta. Just running, free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray, and turning into vertical radiation, running to face the unknown. Run no matter where, as long as it is far away from this place. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. Human instincts work independent of consciousness, and while only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life, and in particular ensuring stable functioning of the hormonal system. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and stop thinking in formal quotes from an encyclopedia, though my thoughts appeared one by one, being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junky softcover crime fiction book. A pretty Slavic face, long braids that look like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. "Hey, you must have just arrived." Do not reply. Why would it not reply? Yeah. Alright then, welcome. She smiled broadly. Strange, it looked like as if I had just a normal girl in front of me. Bah, I shouldn't have returned here. The woods and fields seem better. No. But what should I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was a human, or run away, or what? The blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with the gruesome contents of my skull. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. It sent shivers down my spine, and my knees started to tremble. Nothing? Great then. Great? What's so great about that? Suddenly a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all. Forget about the bus behind me, the fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept that all this is actually happening. Everything is as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know? You should go to our camp leader. She will tell you everything. Look. You go straight ahead to the square, then turn left. You will see several small cabins. She pointed at the gates, as if I knew what was behind them. Well, you can ask someone where Olga Dmitrievna's cabin is. Dmitrievna is a patronymic derivative of a person's father's name, in this case Dmitri, put by Russians after a person's first name as a sign of respect or formal address. Okay. Got it? Of course I didn't. Go straight and to the left. Well, I've got to go now. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her I was something ordinary. And all this showed me, with the bus and the travels, well awake or asleep, were troubling only to me, while everything here is just the way it is supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform. What are they doing a historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenny standing atop an armored car in this square. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. A mere 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house popped up on the left side. The sign near the door said clubs. I was about to come closer when the door suddenly opened and a short girl wearing a pioneer uniform came out. Her pretty face gave me the impression of one suffering for the fate of the whole of mankind with a truly universal sorrow. As soon as she saw me, the girl froze, as if frightened. I froze too, considered what was the best to do. To approach first, or wait until she showed some initiative? Or maybe run away after all? Although this last option was constantly being suggested only by myself. Preservation. Instinct. At least that's what I'd like to believe. Not the worst human instinct, but far from the most logical. If this instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome would be predetermined. And those deductive abilities, or at least their resemblance, were hinting to me that there was no need to be afraid of this girl. Suddenly somebody jumped out of nearby bushes. A girl wearing a bright red t-shirt with USSR written on it. Such a perfect reproduction of the age. She looked quite short from a distance and was probably younger than both pioneer girls. The one at the gates and this girl at the door of the clubs. At last I decided to come closer, but the USSR, as I called her in my mind, jumped towards the first girl and started telling her something while wildly waving her arms. The other girl, in turn, seemed confused and lowered her gaze, remaining silent. I would have probably continued to observe their amusing dialogue, but the USSR suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and started waving it in front of the first girl's face. Done. This something turned out to be a grasshopper. The first girl squealed. She must not be too keen on insects, as she instantly rushed off towards the place where Lenin presumably made his speech about the workers' and peasants' revolution. That is to say, towards the square. The USSR glanced at me, grinned playfully, and dashed after her. Not a bad start to the day. I have absolutely no clue where am I. Besides that there are some kids here role-playing as pioneers. And as far as I can tell, this place is located thousands of kilometers away from my home. It might even be a different reality. And this was indeed a reality. I mean, everything around me seemed so real. It felt a little embellished that I was starting to think that in fact my previous life could have been just a dream. And what am I supposed to do now? Go left. I was picking at the cracked paving stones with my shoe and staring aimlessly at the club's building. Just few more seconds before I have to come up with some decision. That's when I recalled myself rolling on the grass, weeping. I crinkled in disgust. Perhaps it's another instinct. With all the energy for whimpering and self-pitying is used up, the body either goes into the hibernation or mobilizes its reserves. I seems to have chosen the second option, because out of the blue I found the determination to figure out what was going on. And in order to do that I had to act like a man, like a human, to maintain the dignity of a representative of my own world. I followed the path to the left, on the right side of which stood small cabins, apparently the homes of the local pioneers. Actually, they looked quite cozy from the outside. Even though I was born in the Soviet Union, I had never been part of its children's organizations, neither the pioneers nor even the younger October children. I imagined the daily life of a typical pioneer camp a bit differently. Huge barracks with long rows of metal bunks, wake-up call at 6 o'clock, played by a siren, 1 minute to make your bed, then joining the formation at the drill square. Or wait, could I be confusing it with something else? Yeah, I think so. Suddenly something struck me on the back. I staggered up, but remained on my feet, turned around and prepared to fight heroically for my life. but all I found was another girl standing before me. My mouth hung open in surprise. Pick your jaw above the ground. I closed my mouth. The same pioneer uniform, but the way she was wearing it looked, let's say, provocative. Like all the girls I had met here before, this one was rather cute, but her overly arrogant expression killed any desire to get to know her better. New here, are you? Fine. See ya. See ya. She threw a threatening glance at me and walked past. I waited for the pioneer girl to turn at the corner. Who knows what else she might have been up to. The most interesting thing was that even this hostile girl seemed completely normal to me. She did not give off the feeling of some deadly danger. Except maybe the danger of getting punched in the nose. At last, I managed to make it to the square. There was no landing on an armored car, although one could easily expect something like that after all this had happened. Instead, however, a monument to a certain comrade towered in the middle of the square. Letters on the pedestal read Genda. Must be some big figure in the party. There were some small branches at the sides. It's quite pleasant here. Where did that girl tell me to go? Left. To the left or to the right? Left. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. To the freaking left. And why am I going the wrong way? Alright, I've decided to pretend to be normal. So, to the right. To the left, you jackass! Through a small grove. I came out at a pier. He's stupid. He's supposed to go left. I must have taken a wrong turn. Yes! You took the wrong turn. Hey, wrong way! I turned towards the voice. Hello! That first girl stood before me. Now, what did I tell you? Take a left at the square, wasn't it? Yes, it was, but I don't mind, actually. He made a good choice. She had changed her from her pioneer uniform into a bikini. Oh, I still haven't introduced myself. My name is Slavia. Nice to meet you. Actually, my full name is Slaviana, but everyone calls me Slavia. So you can too. Yeah. I still felt a bit confused, so I could not come up with more meaningful answers. And what's your name? It felt like she could see right through me. Yeah, Semyon. Nice to meet you, Semyon. That's pretty cute. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait here a minute? I'm going to change and we'll go to Olga Dmitrievna together. Agreed? Agreed. After this exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hang into the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots, but in such weather there was nothing wrong in getting my feet wet. Furthermore, it let me cool myself a little. Looking at the river, I was brainstorming and processing everything that has happened. If this is some kind of conspiracy, it's a weird one, even too friendly at times. No, it really looks more like a random event. Some entirely incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? Slava was standing beside me dressed in a pioneer uniform again. Let's go. I've been here for a very short time. Out of all the people I've met, she looks the least suspicious. However, this fact is already suspicious itself. We walked to the square. The useless girl and the girl who hit me on the back were there, chasing each other. Is that some kind of game they're playing? Uliana, enough running! I'll tell everything to Olga Dmitrievna! Aye aye, Captain! Okay, I decided not to question Slavia for a while about what was going on or the local residents. Better meet with this mistress Olga Dmitrievna first. Sounds like she's the boss here. We walked past the rows of almost identical cabins, some of which looked like fat beer barrels, while others looked more like household sheets. Finally, Slavia stopped in front of a smallish one-story cabin. It looked like an artist painting. The faded paint, chipping here and there with age, was sparkling in the sun. The window shutters, slightly ajar, were swaying almost unnoticeably in the wind, and huge lilac bushes were growing at the sides. It seemed as if this ramshackle hut was drowning in a storm of purple silk, and the lilacs, like some mental force, were inexorably destroying the troop leader's house. "What are you standing around?" "4. Let's go." Slava snapped me out of my daydreaming. "And stop teasing Lena already." Whoa, Rena! What? Rena? You mean Higurashi Rena? Rena from Higurashi? That's pretty scary, but I like her actually. Sounds like there's someone inside. Indeed, a moment later the door swung open and Julian rolled out and dashed past with the same mischievous grin. The pigtailed girl came out next. "Don't let it bother you, Lena." So her name's Lena. Gotta be thankful it's not Rena at least. Rena was cute. Come on. But I don't... Instead of finishing her sentence, she blushed and quickly headed towards the square. For some reason I felt like turning and following her with my eyes, but Slavia said, "Come." Alright, we entered the cabin and... what will happen in the cabin will happen in the next episode. Let's end it here. Hopefully you enjoy it, and see you then. Bye.